Good afternoon, and welcome back to my channel where today I will be doing my match week 10. Yes, 10 already. We're at match week 10 already of the 2019-2020 Premier League season. Wow. The season is flying through, isn't it? Absolutely flying through. So we're at match week 10 now of the 2019-2020 Premier League season. Now let's have a quick look how I did last week, and has to be said that it was one of those weeks where you could kind of predict games that didn't actually go the way that they were going to go. So here we go. So Everton West Ham, I went for a 2-1 win to West Ham. That finished 2-0 to Everton. I went for a 2-0 win to Bournemouth against Norwich City. That finished 0-0. Aston Villa Brighton, I went for a 2-1 win to Aston Villa. It was a 2-1 win to Aston Villa, so first perfect score of the day. Chelsea Newcastle, went for a 5-0 win to Chelsea. That finished 1-0. Yeah, that wasn't very good. Leicester Burnley, I went for a 2-0 win to Leicester, finished 2-1. But again, that could have been finishing 2-2. We will get to that. We will get to that game shortly. Tottenham against Watford, I went for a 2-0 win to Tottenham. 1-1 draw. So Tottenham, what has happened to them? We will discuss that as well in this video. Wolves against Southampton, I went for a 2-1 win to Wolves. Would have been 2-1 had it not been for VAR getting in the way of Raul Jimenez, who could have had a hat-trick that day as well. That finished 1-1. Crystal Palace Man City, went for a 3-1 win to Man City. That finished 2-0. Manchester United against Liverpool, went for a 2-0 win to Liverpool. Finished 1-1. And Sheffield United Arsenal, I went for a 1-0 win to Arsenal. It finished 1-0 Sheffield United. So, hopefully, I will do a lot better, because that was not a very good week, in all honesty. So we've got some very good fixtures, and we've got a Friday night game this week as well. 4 games on the Sunday as well, so lots to get through, and we'll discuss that immediately. So the first game of match week 10 is Southampton against Leicester City. Now the last 5 between these two have resulted in 2 wins to Southampton, 2 wins to Leicester City, and a draw, and the last game was a 2-1 win to Leicester City. And in fact, the last time Southampton played Leicester, they won 2-1 away at the King Power. So both teams trading wins last season, so it'll be very interesting this one. Southampton getting a 1-1 draw against Wolves, but how they weren't on the end of a defeat is another matter, because literally VAR got in the way of that game. Raul Jimenez had 2 goals chopped off for basically one that was a handball and one that was offside. Though obviously it was a good point in the end for Ralph Hasenhüttl, obviously to get away from that losing run, but they are on a little bit of a bad run at the moment, Southampton. I think this is where it's going to be very, very interesting, because Leicester City, Leicester City, Friday night, their fans will be up for it. Their fans will definitely be up for this, and make no mistake about it, but it is wins that Southampton need. Not much about draws, it's wins. They need to get wins now, and that is the main thing that you would have to say from Southampton this season, is that they are lacking wins. So they definitely need to win another game very, very soon. Leicester City, obviously 2-1 winners over Burnley. But it could have been 2-2, because again VAR gets in the way. I mean, Chris Wood, he does actually get a touch onto Johnny Evans, so you can understand why that was ruled out. But was very, very harsh. But Leicester City in the end probably deserved winners in the end. And actually they played really, really well. Vardy looking back to his best. Yuri Tillemans, fantastic strike from him as well. You know what? They're looking really, really good at the moment, and this I know they've had 2 wins apiece, and obviously there's been a draw in there as well. So these two have been really evenly matched over the years, and I'm going to go for... I just think Leicester City are the team in the better form at this present moment in time. They currently sit third in the Premier League. And I think Leicester City will go away. Jimmy Vardy loves a goal against Southampton, so I reckon he'll get one. And I think Leicester City will be far too strong for Southampton. Brendan Rodgers has got a really good record against Southampton as well, so I think Leicester City will win this one. I'm going for Southampton 0, Leicester City 2. So there we go for that one. Manchester City against Aston Villa. Now the last 5 between these two have resulted in 4 wins to Man City and a draw, and the last game was a 4-0 win to Manchester City, which was 2015-2016, so that was a wee while ago there. Man City didn't play very well against Palace, but they didn't really need to, because if you can take your chances, they took their chances. 2 quick fire goals, one from Gabriel Jesus and one from David Silva. Basically both were straight after each other, so it was a very, very good performance from David Silva. Bernardo Silva, obviously, crossing again, he was excellent. And obviously, what's his face was very good as well. Ederson in the goal, he had to save a couple of shots from Palace. It's a good win for Man City, because obviously it's a very, very tricky place to go to, Selhurst Park, no doubt about it. Very, very hard place to go to, and it is going to be a very, very close game. It was a very close game between Man City and Crystal Palace, and obviously Man City getting the win, so it was a very, very good win for them. Aston Villa, obviously they won 2-1 against Brighton, very last minute winner from Matt Targett. Obviously he gets his first goal as well. Jack Grealish is looking really good though. Got a couple of goals in his last few appearances now, and he's looking very, very good. Because it's at the Etihad, you can't really back against Manchester City. I think this is an early kickoff as well. This is a 12:30 game on Saturday. I can't really see anything other than a Manchester City victory, to be honest with you. I really can't. I do think Aston Villa will score though, because Aston Villa are scoring in their games, and that is the main thing with them, is they are the scoring goals. So I think Villa will get 1, but I just think that Man City will be far too strong for Villa. Going for Manchester City 3, Aston Villa 1. Brighton and Hove Albion against Everton. Now the last there's only been 4 fixtures actually between these two, and they've resulted in 1 win to Brighton, a draw, and 2 wins to Everton. And in fact, the last game between the sides at the Amex was a 1-0 win to Brighton. So who knows? Obviously, Brighton will be without Aaron Moy because he got sent off for 2 really stupid yellow cards. I mean, they were dreadfully quick for him to get 2 yellow cards. And they actually played okay against Villa. Very unlucky to lose in the last minute. But, Graham Potter, I think he's surprising a lot of people, actually, with how he's doing it at Brighton. And I think Brighton are just surprising themselves. Like, they were one of my tips to go down at the start of the season. And I think there were many people's tips to go down as well. But, fair play to them. They are actually doing okay at the moment. And, coming in front of their home fans again, they'll be determined to get another win on the belt. Coming up against an Everton side who finally get a win. Played really well against West Ham, and Gylfi Sigurdsson's goal. Oh, absolutely outstanding goal. If you haven't seen it, then he literally takes the ball, 1 touch to his right foot, and he bangs it past Roberto in the West Ham goal. It was a fantastic finish for them. But this is the thing, Everton's away form is their Achilles heel. There is no doubt about that. And I actually think that this is a game that Brighton can go into. I think Brighton will get a win, and I think Everton will start, this is the thing with Everton, they're not consistent enough. And I think Everton will lose this one. I'm going for Brighton 2, Everton 0. So there we go. Watford against Bournemouth. Now the last 5 between Watford and Bournemouth have resulted in 1 win to Watford, 3 draws and 1 win to Bournemouth. And the last game was an emphatic win for Bournemouth. It was 4-0 away last season. Watford, how did they not beat Tottenham? Well, again, it feels like I'm going to be discussing VAR most of this in this video, but it has to be said that there was a blatant penalty on Gerard Deulofeu completely missed by VAR. I'm sorry, but that is a penalty. You know, obviously Abdoulaye Doucouré, obviously he scores for Watford, very very good finish as well. And then you're thinking Watford, had they gone 2-0 in front, then they would probably win, because Tottenham are not in very very good form at the moment. As obviously we will come to Tottenham very very soon. But it has to be said that Watford do need to start getting wins, because at this moment in time they don't look like winning games. And that is the main feature for them, is they do need to get wins, because they are still rooted at the bottom of the table. And it's only a matter of time before I think they will start to panic, I think. Bournemouth, obviously a 0-0 draw against Norwich. Not the prettiest of games, to be honest with you. Aaron Ramsdale did keep Bournemouth in the game, to be fair. Some good saves from him as well. So, because Watford are still looking for their first win of the season, I think Bournemouth can go into this game knowing that they absolutely hammered Watford last season. I'm going to go for a 2-0 win to the Cherries here. I think Bournemouth will win 2-0 away at Watford. Now, this game is very, very interesting. West Ham against Sheffield United. There's only been 4 games between West Ham and Sheffield United, and it resulted in 1 win to West Ham, a draw, and 2 wins to Sheffield United. And the last game was a 1-0 win way back in 2006 for West Ham. But obviously this was at Upton Park, and this is obviously not at Upton Park this time. Now, if you are remembering about this fixture, now obviously we all know about what happened. West Ham bought Javier Mascherano and Carlos Tevez. Now, West Ham obviously didn't get points deduction; they got a fine. Now, obviously, Sheffield United were not happy about this. So, this is a game. This is a game. It's a grudge match, in my opinion. This is a grudge match. West Ham losing 2-0 to Everton, not very very good performance, and Felipe Anderson subbed at half time as well, which was not very very good as well. So it's not looking good for them. But it has to be said though, they're pretty decent at home. They are pretty decent at home. Obviously, losing to Crystal Palace the last time out as well at home. So it'll be very very interesting. This game is very very interesting, and make no mistakes about it. It'll be a very very close one, because they are quite close between these two. Indeed, Sheffield United, fantastic performance against Arsenal. Fantastic performance against Arsenal. They were absolutely superb. Thoroughly deserved to win. Lisa Mousset obviously getting the winner. That's Sheffield United's second win over Arsenal at Bramall Lane, and quite honestly, they are really impressing me. The way they have defended really really well. They were very very good yesterday against Arsenal, and thoroughly deserved to win as well. So it's going to be a very very interesting game, this one, because it's at the London Stadium. I do think Sheffield United will be a very very hard team to beat. And that stat, they still have not lost by more than 1 goal this season. I think West Ham will win, but I'm going to go for a 1-0 win to the Hammers. I just think that Sheffield United are showing signs that they are a team that, if you play them, they will not get hammered, because defensively they are sound. Really, really good defensively. So I'm going to go for a 1-0 win to West Ham, but I think it'll be a very, very tight game, and don't be surprised if that game is a very, very tight affair, indeed. Excuse me. Burnley against Chelsea. Now, this is a Saturday tea time game. Between the sides, last 5, there has been 1 win to Burnley, 2 draws, and 2 wins to Chelsea. And the last game was a 4-0 win to Chelsea at Turf Moor. Burnley will be feeling very hard done by the fact that they could have grabbed a point against Leicester. Chris Wood scores what Chris Wood does. He scores goals, and that's the thing. That it was a typical Burnley goal, really long ball, and basically a good cross into the back post, and Wood is there with a header, and it beats Schmeichel. So, and they played really, really well. It's just unfortunate that they lost that game. Chelsea had to be very patient against Newcastle because had so many chances, could have finished them off, but they won. They won in the end. They're away to Ajax this midweek, so it'll be very, very interesting to see how they do in that one. But obviously it's the Saturday tea time game. Chelsea got a really good record at Turf Moor. I think Chelsea will win this one. I'm going to go. I think Chelsea will be too strong for Burnley. Excuse me. And I think also that Chelsea will be determined to score some goals. I think Tammy Abraham and Mason Mount will be very, very impressive. I think again they're doing really well for Chelsea, and I think they will do again. So I'm going to go for 3-0 win to Chelsea. I just think that Chelsea will be far too strong for Burnley, but we shall see what happens indeed. Sorry about this. Newcastle against Wolves. Now we're moving to the Sunday games, and the last 5 between Newcastle and Wolves have resulted in 2 wins to Newcastle, 2 draws, and a win to Wolves. And the last game was a 2-1 win to Wolves last season. Newcastle obviously coming off the back of a 1-0 defeat to Chelsea. They did pretty well. Defended really, really well. Dubravka made a couple of saves. Chelsea. I think everyone expected Newcastle to lose that game, me included. I expected Chelsea to go riot against Newcastle, but that wasn't to be. So very, very interesting game. This one, I think that obviously Newcastle coming back in front of their home fans. Obviously, the last game they won was against Manchester United at home, so they're very, very interesting indeed. Wolves 1-1 against Southampton, but they really should have won against Southampton. Raul Jimenez, obviously, he will feel hard done by because he should have had a hat trick. He really should have had a hat trick against Southampton, but wasn't to be. But they are in Europa League action this week as well. So obviously this game is Sunday. So I think it'll be a very tight game. I fancy Wolves to win this one. I just think that Wolves are in the better form at this present moment in time. I know Newcastle lost against Chelsea. I know Wolves drew against Southampton, but I just feel that this will be a very, very tight game. Could be one goal that decides it. There's not many goals between Wolves and Newcastle. Going for a 1-0 win to Wolverhampton Wanderers in this one. Now we've got a London derby to talk about. Arsenal against Crystal Palace. Now the last 5 makes very interesting reading, especially for this one. Arsenal have 2 wins, Crystal Palace have 2 wins, and there's been 1 draw in there for good measure as well. And the last game between the sides was a 3-2 win to Crystal Palace at the Emirates. So be very, very interesting this one indeed. Arsenal were terrible against Sheffield United. Really, really poor. Just sideways passing. It felt like it was like an Arsene Wenger team again. What has Emery done to change Arsenal? Like, what has he done? Nicolas Pepe missed an absolute sitter. Obviously, people will say that he is a waste of money. Not really showing it, is he? He's not really showing it at the moment, but does take time to get into the Premier League. But he will need to know better, definitely for sure. Coming up, obviously they are in Europa League action as well this week, so obviously this game is Sunday as well. Crystal Palace obviously losing 2-0 to Manchester City, but in the second half they looked a lot better, definitely, for this one. Now, obviously Crystal Palace won last time at the Emirates. I'm going to say this again. I think Palace can go to Arsenal, frustrate them. Zaha has a good scoring record against Arsenal. I think he will be on the score sheet. I'm going for Crystal Palace to pick up another away win against Arsenal. I'm going for Arsenal 1, Crystal Palace 2. So there we go indeed. Liverpool against Tottenham. This is Super Sunday as well as Newcastle Wolves. Now, the last 5 between these sides have resulted in 3 wins to Liverpool, a draw, and 1 win to Tottenham. And the last one result was a 2-1 win to Liverpool. How do I describe Liverpool's performance against Manchester United? Poor. Very, very poor. Very lucky to get a draw as well, I thought. VAR aside, I mean, we didn't deserve anything. I will say that now. We did not deserve anything in that game. And I think the fact is that if you look at the game as a whole, Manchester United were the better team. You could also say that obviously I'm made up for Adam Lallana scoring. I really am. Obviously coming back in front of their fans again at Anfield. Obviously they're away to Genk midweek as well. So yeah, I think this is a very good fixture for Liverpool. It'll be obviously first meeting between these sides at the Champions League final. So it'll be very, very interesting indeed, this one. Tottenham, though, are in absolute freefall. I mean, there's no two ways about it. They are in freefall. It has to be said that Tottenham, they just cannot buy a win at the moment. And the funny thing is that against Watford, they were dreadful. They were absolutely dreadful. Then obviously they had Dele Alli to thank with the equaliser. And defensively, they're all over the place as well. So, be very, very interesting game, this one. It's a Super Sunday game. I'm thinking that Liverpool can take advantage of Tottenham's frailties at the back. And obviously Tottenham have got Red Star Belgrade tomorrow evening as well. So, if they were to lose that, then, Tottenham are in real desperate need of a win. Will it come at Anfield? No, I don't see it. I think Liverpool will win this one. And I'm going to go for a Liverpool comfortable win here. I don't usually say this when it's two big teams, but I think Liverpool can can play in front of their fans at Anfield, and I think they will beat Tottenham. And I think they should be a pretty comfortable win. I'm going for Liverpool 3, Tottenham 0. So we'll see what happens in that one. So the final game is Norwich City against Manchester United. Now the last five between the sides, I should say. 4 wins to Manchester United, 1 win to Norwich City, so there's not been a draw in there, so that's interesting. And the last game was a 1-0 win to Manchester United in 2015-2016. So, yeah, very, very interesting game indeed. Norwich City obviously coming off the back of a 0-0 draw with Bournemouth. It's a good result, and it's their first clean sheet of the season. That is one thing they've been lacking, is clean sheets. So it'll be very interesting to see if they can take that as well. I've obviously said Manchester United have been excellent. Were excellent against Liverpool. Very, very lucky not to win as well. But it's that same thing again. They can only score 1 goal in their games, and that's the worrying thing for Manchester United side. They could only score 1 goal in their only games. So, you have to say that. And I think it has to be said that it's going to be very, very interesting indeed. And this is the game where does the Liverpool result now kickstart their season? You would hope so as a Manchester United fan, but at this present moment in time, you don't know. You just don't know. Obviously Martial will be back, so he'll probably start against Norwich. So it'll be very, very interesting indeed. But I think this is going to be one game where they have to obviously try and win. But it's away from home, and their away form is useless. It really, really is. So be very interesting So what do I predict? Norwich win. I'm sorry to say it, but I think Norwich can do a Manchester double and pick off Manchester United at the back. I think Norwich City will win this one, and I'm going to go for a 2-1 win to Norwich City, and that's an upset again. So we'll see what happens. Can Norwich City get a Manchester double? That would be fantastic to see. So that is it. That is my match week 10 predictions of the 2019-2020 Premier League season. I will quickly go through them very, very quickly. Southampton 0, Leicester City 2, Manchester City 3, Aston Villa 1, Brighton 2, Everton 0, Watford 0, Bournemouth 2, West Ham 1, Sheffield United 0, Burnley 0, Chelsea 3, Newcastle 0, Wolves 1, Arsenal 1, Crystal Palace 2, Liverpool 3, Tottenham 0, and Norwich City 2, Manchester United 1. So that is my predictions. I'm sure you've got your own. Please put them in the comment section below. If you want to join in, that's absolutely fine. And hit that subscribe button. If it's the first video you have seen, then hit that subscribe. And you like what you see, hit that subscribe button. That'd be duly appreciated. And obviously, leave a like, leave a comment. I will reply to all comments as well. So thank you very much for watching this video. I'll be back with more videos very soon. And yeah, enjoy the football, enjoy the Premier League. Obviously Friday night we've got Southampton, Leicester, and then Saturday we've got Manchester City, Aston Villa, and then Super Sunday is Newcastle United against Wolves, Liverpool against Tottenham as well to enjoy. And then obviously my next video will be the SPFL predictions for match week 10 as well. And there's loads of content coming up very soon. Obviously you've got Carabao Cup games, you've got even more SPFL games as well, so lots to come on this channel. So thank you very much for watching, and I'll be back very soon with some more videos. Anyway, take care everyone. Bye.